Hello and welcome to today's Show and Tell. I'm Gail Ruscetta, Community Educator at BikeNewport. And today I'm going to give you what we call the You Have the Power e-bike training. BikeNewport is the leading advocate and nonprofit in our region for making bicycling accessible and safe and inviting for everyone. We work very hard to create safe places for people to walk and to ride, for transportation and for recreation, by inspiring and facilitating very innovative infrastructure solutions and lots of community engagement and lots of educational programs. Electric bikes, or e-bikes, have just exploded in popularity. So here today on Show and Tell, we're going to go over just what an e-bike is and how to safely ride one in Rhode Island. First of all, I would like to thank Carrie Caffrey of Cycling Savvy. Carrie is the creator of the best e-bike course out there that we have ever come across. And Carrie has allowed us to use some short video clips from her full course. So we thank her so much for that. The course is called E-Bike Training for Teens, and it's available at the address you see here on your screen. Though it says it's for teens, the course is excellent for anyone. Okay, what is an e-bike? As you know, there are so many devices on the roads these days. So let's find out now just what a legal e-bike is.
Not all products sold as e-bikes meet this definition. If they don't, they may not be legal to ride on the street or bike path. In most states, an electric bicycle must have fully operational pedals, a saddle or seat for the rider, and an electric motor of less than 750 watts. A few states allow 1,000-watt motors. There are 3 classes of e-bikes. Class 1 e-bikes have pedal assistance up to 20 miles per hour. Class 2 has both pedal and throttle assistance up to 20 miles per hour. Class 3 e-bikes have pedal assistance up to 28 miles per hour. In many states, Class 3 e-bikes have additional requirements and restrictions, such as a minimum age, helmet use, and a speedometer. All classes of e-bikes can go faster than their assisted speed under human power or downhill.
So when is an e-bike not an e-bike? Well, the bikes that don't fall into those 3 classes, 1, 2, or 3, are out-of-class e-motos. Let's look at these more closely.
There are many devices that look like e-bikes that do not meet the legal definition of an e-bike. These are not allowed on streets, in bike lanes, or bike paths. They may not even be allowed on public mountain bike trails. If you drive an off-road vehicle on the street, you could face confiscation and fines. Even though a legal e-bike is classified as a bicycle, it is much more powerful. It should not be taken lightly or treated as a toy. You will be most successful if you think of yourself and behave as a vehicle driver.
An e-moto, or electric moto, is a 2-wheeled electric vehicle designed primarily for off-road or trek use. It lacks functional pedals. It utilizes a peg-based riding position. E-motos typically have power greater outputs, and they can reach speeds well over 30 miles per hour. So in Rhode Island, you must be 16 to ride any e-bike. And this might be news to some of you, but yes, this is the law in Rhode Island. And also, in Rhode Island, helmets are mandatory for e-bike riders under 21. So here's how to fit your helmet properly. The pictures show that the helmet needs to be about 2 fingers above your eyebrow, so it comes well down on your forehead and protects your forehead in case you obviously hit the pavement, right? You want your helmet to hit it, not your head. If yours has a harness inside, and most do these days, go ahead and tighten the harness. Just rotate the dial in the back. And then adjust your straps. You want the straps to come one in front of your ear and one behind your ear. And then the chin strap should be fairly snug. If you can fit one finger under it, that's just right. All right, battery safety. Let's look now at the e-bike battery and how to properly take care of it. Tips for safe battery charging. Yes, use the battery that came with your e-bike. Do not get a cheap one online. This is one thing I did not realize. You should always plug it directly into the wall outlet and don't plug it into a strip. Leaving a lithium-ion battery plugged in after it's fully charged and the green light is on is going to result in reduced power. And also your battery won't last as long. You'll have a reduced lifespan of that battery. Store it in a very well-ventilated area, in a dry area, not in the fridge, for example. And let the battery cool down. And if it won't, then perhaps it's time to get a new one. And I would go to the bike's manufacturer for that. Okay, hand signals. Signaling to drivers to let them know what you intend to do is very courteous, and it's part of riding in a predictable way. So signal early, and so that you can replace your hands back on the handlebars before you make the turn, so that you can make that turn under full control. Right? And it's easy to do. It's just a practice thing until it becomes habit. Just simply point in the direction you want to go, right? And then your stopping is done with the left arm with your palm facing the driver. Practice in an empty lot, and then just get out on the road and make sure that your signals become habit.
I'm sure you've heard of the rules of the road. Stuff like ride on the right and stop at stop signs. Before we get to those, we need to establish the rules of movement. The rules of movement exist without signs, signals, or painted lines. They are the foundation of our cooperative system. Following them makes all road and bikeway users predictable to one another and reduces our risk of crashing into each other. Let's start with the 3 rules for predictability. Drive on the right in the same direction as traffic. Never ride your bike facing traffic on the road, in a bike lane, or on a shoulder. Pass on the left of slower vehicles and slower path users. Position your vehicle properly prior to making a turn. If you're turning right, move to the right side or right lane. If you're turning left, move to the left side of the lane or the left lane. Now we have 3 rules to establish priority between intersections. First come, first served. This rule establishes priority based on position, not speed. Speed has no priority. It doesn't matter if you're fast or slow. If you're there first, you have priority. It also doesn't matter what type of vehicle you're driving. When making a lateral move, such as changing lanes, you must yield to vehicles that are already there or approaching. In this case, it does matter if they are faster. You must yield or negotiate. Yield before entering the roadway from a driveway or alley. Drivers in a travel lane have priority over those entering the roadway. Pedestrians on a sidewalk also have priority over anyone entering the road from a driveway or alley. That includes you on your bicycle. We have 3 more rules for priority at intersections. Before making a left turn, yield to opposing traffic. First come, first served also comes into play at intersections. Whoever got there first has priority over others. When 2 or more drivers get to an intersection at the same time, the driver to the right has priority. These rules are so effective at establishing right-of-way for vehicles traveling at different speeds and in different directions that we can all sort it out when there are no stop signs or red lights. However, whenever there are traffic controls, those take precedence.
What does it mean to yield? Well, there's one rule that I see a lot of folks forget. When 2 vehicles arrive at the same intersection at the same time, who goes first? Do you remember that from driver's ed? Yes, it's always the vehicle on the right. And if you or the other driver has forgotten, then maybe you just need to negotiate. But make sure that you make eye contact with that driver.
Everyone needs to remember 2 basic laws: the duty to exercise due care and the basic speed law. Whether you are operating on the road, the sidewalk, or a bike path, both of these laws apply. You have a responsibility to operate carefully around others. People make mistakes. It is the responsibility of all of us to anticipate possible surprises. For example, if a little child swerves in front of you, you should be riding so as not to hit that child. This goes hand in hand with the basic speed law, which means don't drive too fast for conditions. Don't drive fast into an intersection, even if you don't have a stop sign. Don't drive fast around a blind corner. There could be an obstruction you can't see.
What does this actually mean? Yes, driving with due care is operating your vehicle with reasonable caution based on the current conditions. You have to look at the road traffic conditions, the current weather conditions, regardless of what the posted speed limits are. So let's look now at the components of defensive driving.
In this lesson, we'll dive deeper into the components of defensive bicycle driving: operating space, visibility, relevance, vantage, communication, knowledge, and skill. To avoid hazard areas, you need space to maneuver. Keep away from the edge of the road where there are holes, glass, and debris that can cause you to crash or swerve into traffic. Swerving uses less distance than braking, but if you are operating on the edge, you won't have time to ensure it is safe to move left. Remember, stay at least 5 feet from parked cars. Hitting a door can throw you in front of an overtaking car. Riding too close can cause you to be startled and swerve into traffic, even if you wouldn't have hit the door. Some buffered bike lanes are designed with enough operating space to avoid hazards. Some bike lanes put bicyclists right in the hazard zones. It's best to leave bike lanes when riding at high speed, especially downhill, where the slope increases braking distance. Visibility is how well you can be seen by others. An aspect of visibility is conspicuity. That is how well you stand out. We can be more conspicuous with high visibility clothing and lighting. Relevance is as important as visibility. A driver can look at you and see you and still not find you relevant enough to yield before crossing your path. Visibility and relevance give the other driver an opportunity to see and avoid hitting you. Vantage is how well you can see potential conflicts. With vantage, you have the ability to see and avoid a crash. Notice what is blocking your view and ride where you can best see around it. Visibility and vantage require maximizing line of sight to potential conflicts. In most cases, we achieve this with our position in the lane. Relevance is also enhanced by lane position. The faster you go, the more relevant you need to be. So the faster you go, the farther into the lane you need to be. Communicating with others makes you predictable. Don't be afraid to put out your hand to tell a driver to wait. They don't know how fast you are going and might otherwise think they can turn in front of you. You can also seek confirmation that a driver sees you. Remember, a driver can be looking right at you and not see you. You can watch the car for signs of braking. You can also wave and look for a response from the driver.
Had a crash on a bike. We'll look now at the most common crash types and countermeasures.
Motorists make mistakes around bicyclists, and this is made worse by the unexpected speed of an e-bike. The good news is, their mistakes are predictable, and I will show you the ways to avoid them. Most crashes happen at intersections. They're caused by car drivers who don't see bike riders or don't realize how fast they're going. This is true whether you are on the road, in a bike lane, a sidewalk, or parallel bikeway. These crashes are so predictable, they have names: the right hook, the left cross, and the drive out. If you are using a sidewalk, side path, or cycle track, your defense is to slow and identify the 3 conflict areas before crossing any street or driveway. Remember to slow, scan, communicate, and verify. If you are riding facing traffic, be aware that drivers are not looking in that direction. On the road, you have more options. Let's look at each crash type. Right hook. The driver misjudges the distance needed to overtake and turns right across a bicyclist's path before completing the pass. The faster the rider, the more likely this is, because the motorist starts to pass farther from the turn. The bicyclist disappears into a blind spot, and the motorist can easily forget he is there. This type of right hook is not a visibility problem. The motorist saw the bicyclist just fine when he started to pass. It's a relevance problem. To discourage this mistake, make yourself more relevant by riding farther into the lane. If drivers have to move over to pass, they are more likely to wait. And if they don't, you have more room to avoid a collision. Motorists are required to merge into a bike lane before making a right turn. Many don't know that. Motorists don't reliably use their mirrors or turn signals. If you find yourself near an intersection with a car beside you, look for signs of it slowing down and be prepared to brake. You can move out of the bike lane to avoid this problem. It's a good defense in a place where a lot of cars turn right. Left cross. This typically happens because drivers think they can turn before the bicyclist gets there. A bicyclist can also be hidden by passing cars. You can move to a high visibility, high vantage position and communicate for the driver to wait. Be ready to take evasive action. Don't enter an intersection until you are sure a driver is not going to turn left into your path. If there is more than one driver waiting to turn left, be aware that if the first one turns before you get there, the next one is likely to follow and not have seen you. When you're moving at the speed of traffic, align yourself with the drivers of the cars. This gives you vantage and visibility. Drive out. Trees, hedges, poles, banks, and parked cars can hide you from drivers who are pulling out into the road. The faster you go, the more distance you will cover in the time it takes to react to a conflict. Move left to be more visible and to give yourself more time to see and react. If you can't get vantage, for example, if you're trapped in a bike lane, slow to a speed that allows you time to react. Be aware of your surroundings. If your stopping distance is greater than your line of sight, slow down. Overtaking. There are different types of overtaking crashes. The more common one is a sideswipe. Like the right hook, this is a relevance problem. The motorist sees the bicyclist and thinks there is space to squeeze past. You can prevent this by closing up that space, as we discussed in the previous section. Dooring. We bring this one up a lot, right? That is because it can be deadly. This crash is 100% preventable if you simply never ride within 5 feet of a parked or stopped car. The problem is, some bike lanes encourage you to ride where you could get doored.
Riding with others. Okay, that stops abruptly, but the information on crash types is valuable. So many riders enjoy riding in a group. It's much more fun when you ride with friends. So here are some very good tips for doing that.
The only thing more fun than riding an e-bike is riding e-bikes with friends. A lot of e-bikes are designed to carry a passenger. Keep in mind, when you have a passenger, you're responsible for their safety. Ride accordingly. Obey the rules. Be vigilant about risk areas. Stay out of the door zone. Accelerate slowly and allow more distance for stopping with the added weight. Make sure your skills are sharp. A passenger will affect the way your bike handles. When you look back, you need to be able to see around your passenger while keeping the bike going straight. When riding close to other riders, never brake suddenly. Make sure you leave enough space to react to speed changes without swerving or braking. Don't cross wheels with another rider. If that rider moves into your wheel, it will take you down.
Keep yourself safe? Yes. All of these tips are helpful. It's a good idea to practice carrying a passenger in an empty lot before you actually take to the road. E-bikes have allowed more people to ride more often for fun and for transportation and for transport than ever before. And following the tips we've given you here will help keep you safe and enjoy the feeling of riding and of being outside. For more information, here's our contact information at BikeNewport, and also here's Cycling Savvy's information if you would like to take their excellent full e-bike course. That's it for today's Show and Tell. I'm Gail Ruscetta, Community Educator at BikeNewport. Tune in next time when there'll be another guest and another interesting Show and Tell.